Wet and miserable conditions greeted the peloton at Strada Bianca, making for a challenging race where only the strongest riders could succeed. A four-strong group of Michael Kwiatkowski, Tim Wellens, Zdeněk Stybar and Greg Van Avermaet got clear with 25 kilometres to go and never looked back, battling through terrible conditions before Kwiatkowski went solo with 12 kilometres to go. Despite the elite riders behind, the Team Sky rider was incredibly strong as he quickly established a gap and was able to enjoy a relatively relaxed final climb up into Siena to celebrate his second Strada win. The most iconic image from a great edition of Milan-San Remo was the three-way lunge for the line, but it was Peter Sagan's huge attack on the Poggio that really made the race. With the race all together and the sprinters licking their lips, the world champion launched a massive effort that saw him enjoy a 10-second lead by the bottom of the technical descent. From there he was caught by Julian Alaphilippe and Michael Kwiatkowski, with the latter taking his first monument win in the closest of sprint finishes. After 8 days and more than 1,200 kilometres of riding, Paris-Nice saw the tightest finish of the World Tour season. Going into the final stage with a 30-second lead, Sergio Henao faced the full force of an Alberto Contador attack with more than 50 kilometres to go. The Spaniard bounded up the road with a small group of favourites, cresting the final climb nearly a minute ahead of Henao. But the Skyman wasn't done there and launched a frantic pursuit on the run to the finish. With Contador unable to win the stage and pick up time bonuses, Henao crossed the line just in the nick of time, clinching the win by only 2 seconds. Despite showing strongly through the spring, everyone thought Philippe Gilbert was going into the Tour of Flanders as a domestique for Tom Boonen, even leading his teammate up the Kappelmoor as Quickstep pulled a group clear with nearly 100 kilometres to race. However, the Belgian champion was given a chance to shine as he attacked once again with 55 kilometres to go, going solo on the Eau de Quarmont and beginning one of the greatest rides the Tour of Flanders has ever seen. As Peter Sagan and Greg Van Avermaet crushed behind, Gilbert looked unflappable, winning by such a margin that he even had time to dismount and walk across the line, holding his bike aloft. There were few races that Anna van der Breggen didn't win in 2017. But nowhere was she more dominant than in the Ardennes Classics. This was the first time that all 3 of the Ardennes Classics had had a women's race, and van der Breggen won all 3. In every race, van der Breggen timed her attacks to perfection, accelerating on the final flat 6 kilometres at Amstel Gold, not going too early on the Mur de Huy at La Flèche Wallonne, and capping off a perfect week with a late attack to take another solo win at Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Few people at the Grande Partenza in Sardinia were tipping Tom Dumoulin to win the Giro d'Italia, but the Dutchman produced a brilliant performance to upset Nairo Quintana. However, if there's one unforgettable moment from those 3 weeks, it's of Dumoulin stopping at the side of the road, throwing off the Maglia Rosa and taking the most famous call of nature in history. But what's most impressive is that Dumoulin climbed back onto his bike and mounted an impressive chase, limiting his losses to just 2 minutes in a result that would be vital in winning the race overall. The flat 4th stage of the Tour de France didn't seem to provide too much drama until a coming together between Mark Cavendish and Peter Sagan put both men out of the race, Cavendish with a broken shoulder blade and Sagan with a disqualification. The most discussed moment of 2017, commissaires ruled that Sagan had stuck out his elbow and caused Cavendish to crash with 200 metres to go, the Manxman slamming into the barriers and onto the tarmac in the high-speed crash. Sagan's team protested against the decision, but to no avail, and the Tour continued without its 2 most famous sprinters. Winning yellow by less than a minute in a Tour characterised by defensive riding, his 4th Tour de France victory may not have been Chris Froome's most spectacular, but that didn't make it any less impressive. The inventive route with only 36 kilometres of time trialling was intended to test Froome to the max, but apart from a brief moment of weakness to Peyregoud, the Brit never looked like losing. Team Sky held yellow for 19 of the 21 stages, and despite the lack of riding against the clock, it was still the final time trial that swung it for Froome, as he produced a dominant performance to dispatch Rigoberto Urán and Romain Bardet. Lining up for his farewell race at the end of a glorious career, Alberto Contador would have dreamt of going out in the red jersey. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't to be, eventually finishing in 5th place overall. But that didn't stop the Spaniard winning the Queen stage up the Alto de Langaroo. Despite the entire peloton knowing that Contador was going to attack on this famous climb, he was still able to get away, chasing down the remnants of the break with teammate Jarlinson Pantano, before heading off solo in pursuit of victory. Behind, the red jersey of Chris Froome was closing in, but not fast enough, and we were able to see El Pistolero's trademark salute for one last time as he bade farewell to his home fans with a vintage Contador move. The 2017 World Championships were 257.3 kilometres in length, and until that final 0.3 kilometres, you might not have realised that Peter Sagan was in the race. While he was towards the front of affairs when winning his previous 2 rainbow jerseys, Sagan was anonymous in Bergen, only appearing in the perfect position once a late attack by Julian Alaphilippe had been pulled back. Launching his sprint with 300 metres to go, Sagan broke the hearts of local fans as he edged out home favourite Alexander Kristoff, becoming the first male rider in history to win 3 consecutive World Championship titles.